All right. And we're live, guys. So welcome to the third episode of RTC podcast. Today we have special guests from Flowbox. We're going to be talking with Miko Valencia. And yeah, I want to know what is all the hype around this software, and we're going to be talking about our collaboration. So RTC has been closely collaborating with Flowbox to help develop this tool, and I want you guys to know all about this. First of all, I would like to thank you all for all the views on our videos. We had on the first podcast around 1,000 guys watching this video, and on the second one that we did, we had 1,500 people viewing this video. So it's reaching far, and I'm really glad to have you guys. And this series that we're gonna start doing now, it's as well to promote the community, to promote artists and developers that are working on this industry, and that actually do something special, the unsung heroes of this community. So yeah, guys, let me introduce you, Miko. Hello. Hi.
Hi, Carlos.
How's it going?
Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm really happy to be here.
So welcome to this podcast, totally unfiltered and without any safety nets. So this is, everything can go wrong, but we're
Feel it.
We're fine. So as long as we're trying, we're good. So all right, tell me everything, man. How did Flowbox begin, and what are you guys doing?
All right. I mean, well, this is pretty, let's say, long story, of course, but I'll try to make it short. I mean, this is something we kind of started around 3 years ago. The idea, let's say, behind it, of course, came from some kind of crazy first approaches, first ideas that were initially created by me and my friend who's technical director at. We were working together at the studio here in Poland. This is the studio was called Alvernia, a pretty big studio here in Poland, southern Poland, and we were working together very closely, trying to put these things together, trying to, kind of bend all available tools to our needs. There was a lot of things to do in terms of pipeline, of course, building tools for 3D, for CG, for compositing. And at some point, my friend Wojciech mentioned that he wants to really push it, from other perspective. He wants to go for new development. He wants to build something really, really huge and flexible and kind of the tool for the future. And that was the idea about, visual programming, which is, I think, very interesting, because we usually, when you code and you develop tools, you have to go for C++, to Python, to many things. And this is pretty difficult, especially for artists, right? So I'm not a programmer, I'm not a developer, so
I used to be one, and I kind of ran away from that.
I mean, this is uncharted territory for me, but maybe not now. Maybe now I can tell more about it. But at that time I was pretty shocked that it's huge. It involves a lot of the knowledge and kind of time, of course. It's pretty tedious process to crafting some even simple tools, but it's very powerful. So I knew how powerful it is, but that was a question, how quickly we can get something, because I was, of course, impatient. I wanted everything immediately, ready. So I asked my friend, okay, can you give me, something better than Nuke, right? Like in 1 week or something. He was laughing and telling me, no, man, this is like long development. This is like huge thing. So
you guys developed a new platform. That's it. It's a new platform that can work with a lot of stuff. So develop whatever you guys want.
Yes, that's the idea of visual programming approach, where you can build a node-based system that processes data. If we talk about data, we talk about any type of data. It can be image, it can be sound, it can be numbers, just like that. Any type of data. So out of this, Wojciech crafted the very foundation of Flowbox, and I think that was the most important part for us and for the future. I think this is something that will show the potential in the next, release by release, what we're showing to you, to your artists. I think you will see the benefits of that, because Flowbox is not only about the, let's say, the one tool, one slider, and one property window where you can just, drag couple slider, that's it, render image and forget about it. It's about it. This is really open and flexible environment. And what we're showing today in the Flowbox 1.x, let's say 1.5, 1.6, and etc. This is just a glimpse of what's inside the platform. So I think what we did at the beginning was kind of a bit crazy, of course, but it paid off really well. So my role, actually, when I took over as a CEO of the company, my role was actually to craft this and kind of narrow this huge idea, huge vision, narrow it to some specific tools, specific needs that's present on the market, right? That's what we need, right? So my question was, of course, I need a lot of things. I need CG, I need compositing cool tools, I need plenty of things. But then we realized that there is there are little stuff, little niche, let's say, which is rotoscopy, and we quickly realized that, man, this is something that was really untouched for the last 10-15 years.
Yeah, that's true, and it's probably a nice way to ease into the market and kind of test and prove the solid grounds of the tool, right?
True. This is important. We went to States, of course, to visit my friends from different studios, mostly from LA, and we spoke with DD, we spoke with Method, we spoke with plenty of, let's say, all my network. Let's say we spent some time with them, talking about, let's say, okay, what is a good approach, what is a good start, and from our discussion was clear that yes, definitely rotoscopy is something unique, not only from, let's say, the perspective that it is a manual process still, mostly manual process, and there's a lot of things that can be improved. That's one thing, but also from the perspective that rotoscopy involves entire compositing in one tool, because you have to match layers together, you have to manage gizmos, splines, you have to create a proper rasterizer, the engine to rasterize the images. You have to deal with the alpha channel, RGBA. So there's a lot of aspects, and it's pretty complex, rotoscopy tool, let's say. So
yeah, absolutely. The art of doing it. It's usually talked about. Oh, there's something easy, something simple. Well, it's not that simple. It's simple that in the matter of people usually do it in an easy way, but it's quite complex, and especially behind the softwares that develop ways of doing rotoscopy, intelligent ways of developing this. It's quite difficult. It's quite difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. This is about so many aspects are included into Roto tool. So into rotoscopy task. So I realized that if we manage to do that really well, if we can deliver some good quality Roto tool set, it is gonna be approved that we can probably go beyond. We can go forward and develop tools around and start focusing on other maybe aspects like compositing, color correction, conforming, VR tools, and all this fancy stuff. But it was for us kind of okay, let's
nice test.
do this properly. Let's do it really well. Let's show the potential, right? So, and of course on the way we're gonna learn a lot, right? So that was 2 years ago when we started, yes. And I must say I'm really proud of my team. My team, it's not a big team. We are now 7 people here in Krakow, Poland. And just to be clear, we are in Poland, in southern Poland, which is not very famous right now from, let's say, this is not the developer, let's say, VFX developer, let's say, kind of area. But what is important, Krakow, which is a beautiful city, of course, all of you are invited here, come over. But Krakow is a Silicon Valley of Poland.
Nice.
So there's a lot of great universities, so a lot of technical, people coming from this area, and they are super talented, really. So I think this is important for so you know that this is kind of this is very good, strong environment. People focused on development, right, and from an aspect.
Cool. So how did you go in choosing Roto, but then you probably like assessed the market and see what is happening in there. So we have a couple of leader tools that have been working for quite a few years, that have been slowly updating the softwares. So what made you try to do something different? What is Flowbox objective with this?
Yeah, I mean, this is very interesting because, of course, at the very beginning when we started with that, that was okay. We had some cool ideas how we can move along with some features, some new kind of approaches. But and at the beginning, of course, we were a little bit, how to say, unhumble. I don't know if it's English. There's a word like So we were like, oh yeah, we can do that. I mean, this is easier. We can do it. Automatic. It's gonna be cool and fast, no problem. And during the time, I mean, when we started development, we learned a lot. And I think I can clearly say today, but I'm really kind of I'm admiring.
Yep.
Yes, I'm admiring the effort and the development which was kind of made with Mocha, Silhouette, Nuke, all these companies, what they achieved, over the years. Yes, we all bitching about this. This is clear, yeah. We on a daily basis we're bitching about Nuke, Silhouette, Mocha, all the software we usually bitch. Okay, this is not working. I don't like this. I want it to be different.
But there's a lot of work involved, right?
But this huge,
it takes a lot of time, right?
And I really appreciate that. This is what the founder and DD, what they made with the Nuke till now. It's amazing what they did with this package. Yeah, they gave us kind of really powerful kind of robust environment to process this huge amount of data, and I really appreciate that. And I learn a lot. We learn a lot also as a team. Developing software, learn from them, right? Looking at their achievements. The same with Mocha Imaginary System. The Planet Tracker is amazing, and so we learned a lot from that. We were looking, how they approach the topics. Same with Fusion, same with Silhouette, same with After Effects. There's tons of great ideas. The thing is that, of course, it's about time. It's about how we work and how it is changing over time. So let's say 10 years ago we needed, let's say, big packages of tools, and we wanted to have everything in one place. It's changed, right? So after, let's say, 5-10 years, now we work globally. We go connect online. We don't need to exactly to do everything in one place. So the good example is Flame, right? Flame was designed for this one big, stop shop for everything. And so as soon as the market changed and After Effects become pretty powerful, you can do everything on a GPU and just quick solutions. So the Flame went into kind of problems with okay, maybe we don't have a fit to the market because the market changed. People want to do everything offline. They don't need to go. They don't need to buy a big suite of tools. So So this is kind of new scenario. And I think for the last 10 years, 15 years, I don't see any huge development in this area. I mean, compositing, and around specific processes like roto or maybe color correction. Well, Blackmagic Design, this is a good example that they try to push some new ideas here, like this, going with freemium software, like Resolve for color correction, which is very interesting, very good approach, because this kind of movement in industry, it's alive now. Yeah, we don't stuck with one solution. We have something very approachable, and we like that. So we were thinking about how to do it with Flowbox, and the idea was that definitely we want to bring something affordable and kind of flexible, and also we don't want to compete with Nuke here or any big set of tools. We want to just focus on single process and focus on this.
Yeah, just creating something for specialists, right? This is what I felt. What I felt when I met you guys like a year ago. And that I'm very transparent in regards of softwares and opinions. Like it was, I told you straight away what was my issues. Like you showed me the software, like one of the early versions of Flowbox, and I said like, dude, I'm confused, but as soon as we start talking and you showed me the potential of what you guys were developing, and especially how open you guys were to opinion from the artists. I've never had an opportunity to talk with the developer as close as the especially outside developers from different communities than the company space. Because I worked with Alex back at DNEG to develop Noodle, but this was very interesting. So a developer from an outside company suddenly is approachable to the point of listening to what I have to say, and I'm still one of the few that care about Roto. So I moved on to compositing, but I still care about this community. And I was like, oh, actually, you are listening to us. So what is this thing about listening to this community?
I mean, this is very important because I think, yes, we spent some time, working, let's say, separated, kind of locked, right? We developed internally. Of course, we had a lot of discussion with partners like like yourself, and of course with other compositors and supervisors. But we had to spend a quite amount of time, developing this first alpha version, this first build. Which is like very rough version that we gonna polish and we're gonna improve, of course, over time. And I think for us was at the beginning very important that we can kind of confirm that these initial ideas about this Roto toolset are good. It was a kind of good bet, because it's usually at the beginning it's a kind of bet, right?
Yeah.
It's a bet.
You're gambling. You're gambling on the market and the reaction of people.
Yes, plenty of these, guesses, right? I'm trying to guess. Okay, we're gonna work. So our bet was that we're gonna work manually. Let's say using user input, which is very important. Mm-hmm. So that was our kind of guess that okay, we don't want to kind of lose this connection with the user. So we want the user to be able to draw, to kind of guide the tool where he wants it to process data for him. Mm-hmm. And so that was kind of first approach. So we started with this drawing and snapping, right? Implementing that into Flowbox. Of course, around this drawing and snapping, which is cool and great, I'm going to show it to you in a minute. Yeah. But around it, we realized that these 100 features around it, which are super important, we discovered that we can improve them a lot. So that was kind of a great discovery, especially when we were talking together, right? Yeah. And we do. Yeah. And you showed me, let's say, point by point. Okay, look, this area.
This is what I need. This is what I need for years, and I've never been listened to.
Man, I'm really happy that you are so crazy about it, because this is, we are crazy about this, our development all here, the architecture, we're building this, but you are so crazy about this every detail you work with, right, on daily basis with software. So
really passionate about it. And usually one of the things that people ask me straight away is like, oh, is suddenly Roto gonna be automatic? So did they reinvent the wheel? And so like, no, I don't think that Roto will ever be automatic. You have this light field, the litro cameras, and all this stuff that is capturing depth and all of this extra information. But I don't think Roto is gonna be moving into that direction. Like we need perfection, we need efficiency, we need detail, and this was the thing that captured my attention. It's like, oh, you are very oriented to this detail. To perfection, to how good can a tool can be. So this was very interesting. So why did you choose to go into this direction of manual instead of going into the light field option?
Well, the idea is that just to be honest and just to tell you about let's say the future, where we're going, where we're heading to, is that definitely the automatization is coming, right? But this automatization is on the many fronts is developed today. All over the globe, right? There are teams working with different, ideas, right? We have this deep image learning. We have the cameras like Litro and other depth light field cameras, just grabbing more data. We have couple ideas about it, but what is important, we still think that even if, let's say, after 5, 10, 15 years, we will get there with some, improvements with algorithms, deep image learning, maybe cameras will get there with the, let's say, they're gonna be small enough so the DOPs can start working with these cameras, right? So they're not like a track, huge. And then again, the quality we can get from these cameras will get better. That's all good. I really wish we will get there, but it doesn't mean that we need a proper professional tool set to process this data, and again, manually correct this, what we need, guide these tools, these algorithms, and all tech which is in the background. Yep. I think the place for this type of automatization and kind of automatic solutions is to be kind of hidden below, right, waiting for our orders. That's what I say. Mm-hmm. That's what we think about Flowbox. So if I, for example, now draw a line today to do the snap option, to snap function in Flowbox, the points are snapping to the position. I can show it in a minute. Mm-hmm. But usually I got the question, do you have the edge detect? Because the line looks really good. I mean, the points are matching. The line is there. Cool. Is there edge detection? I'm answering no. There is no edge detection. You just draw the line that you like to draw.
Yeah, you still need to draw. You still need to do it. You still need to do roto. It's just like we're talking about efficiency and how good can you do that point? How good can you move that spline and cutting time, cutting costs in doing this? But yeah, it's interesting that I still don't find any way of doing this in an automatic way, man.
Yeah, edge detection can be let's say implemented as well. So we will implement edge detection. We will implement tracking behind, so it will help you to analyze the movement. We will integrate keying of course as well. So there's a plenty of great ideas how we can combine a couple of algorithms and kind of technical developments to help you, to assist you. But this is all about being assistant for your what you want to do with the image, right? And I think what we did at the beginning, the snapping and drawing and giving this flexibility in the interface, it's a very important first step. So as we are here ready with these tools, and you as a user artist can tell us, okay, I like it. I feel comfortable, drawing, snapping, and moving the shapes around. If you feel comfortable with the environment, I think this is the most important step. Because even if I have super cool technology, if I give you this in a really awkward interface, so it takes a lot of time to set it up, work with slow performance, what is the point? It's not going to really save the day. So because you have to spend hours, with the software, so it has to be just working properly.
It needs to be good looking, to be honest. Like the first thing that I felt, and it was like, oh man, this looks nice. This looks fresh. I love the idea of nodes and all those rings around the nodes and stuff. And of course I needed more than that, because just something visual was not enough. So I would like you to show us a bit about this tool and how it works. Just for people to be aware of what it is, what is being developed, and what is your ideas for the future.
Cool. Just share my screen if you can.
Yep.
Let me know if it's.
Yeah. It's all there.
We got it. Okay. Yeah. Cool. All right. So I will just go very quickly, through the let's say basics here, because I don't think it's we need to spend too much time on that. But I will just try to focus on some differences, So what's important here? So this environment here, which is welcome screen, is important because it's of course kind of growing, place where we bring this collaboration element here in the future, where you can connect multiple users at the same time, and you can join someone else's project. This is very cool.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, so you can be in different facilities, and you can be collaborating almost like a CineSync call, and you're working together or showing someone what you mean. So kind of a review tool.
Yes, exactly. I mean, this is very important because it allows you to actually work together, to review together, the image, and the platform and the entire architecture allows you to do that. I will show that in a minute, because let's go through first to the toolset, showing the toolset,
Cool.
and then at the end I will show you, how we can kind of connect, which is cool. So going on here, if you go to the settings, I think the very important part is to be able to customize your key shortcuts, right? So this is ready here, because if you come from Silhouette Nuke, Mocha Nuke environment, you need to customize what you need. So that's the important part, and you can do that. That's the first thing. If you go to the general settings, you see this is pretty modest. Just cache, just autosave. But a very important part about autosave and protecting your work, your projects, I think this is unique because I haven't seen it in any other app. We are saving your action, your setup, your project per action, not per minute. This is important because we managed to develop it the way that it doesn't slow down your performance and also record every action.
That's interesting.
Yes, it's interesting because, to be honest, since alpha version of this software, I never lost even one move, one stroke, one point in my project. Never. So if it crashes, of course it happens sometime. If you have a power loss, no problem. Just start again and your project is waiting. If we experience during this demo, if you experience crash, you will see that with me. Yeah,
maybe it's fine, man. This is live. It's developing. It's a work in progress.
Yeah, exactly. It's a live element. Okay, I went to the interface just to show you the basics of the interface and what's different here. I think what is very important to understand at the beginning about Flowbox is that we process full frame. So there is no proxy yet in Flowbox. So what is in cache? If I hit play here, what is in cache? Okay, let me just. Okay, I think I just got a bit. Oh yeah. Okay, it's real time. It's going probably a little bit slower because I'm streaming on 2 monitors right now. I don't see the same, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's real time. Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, it's real time. So what we got here is full frame. This is important because if we bring 4K, 6K, right? Up to 4K you get real time playback. Above that, let's say 6K, 8K, it gets slower. Of course, depending on the setup. I'm on a laptop right now, so I don't have a strong machine, but 4K should be really
and to be honest, it's still nowadays, it's still to come the day that we need to constantly be working on 4K plates. From my experience in the industry, I've done the only 5K plates was Christopher Nolan's one. So all the IMAX stuff. Apart from that, it's still 2K, 2.5K. That's it. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Which I think is okay. I mean, of course, I don't think we can avoid that. Going.
It's going there. It's going there for sure.
Especially if we start, touching, VR topic, it becomes really crazy because we go like 16K, right off the bat. So okay, so this is the interface full frame. But what also important is that because we process full frame, we also try to keep the performance to be in good performance. So this is what you work here with, which is, let's say, the source file and the shapes is real time, performing in real time, right? So you don't have to be worried that, okay, let's say if you move the point, right, like that, you see any slowdown, right? Just in a comparison, if you see the window on the right, which is actually my roto output, with shapes and, let's say, color background for my QC, it doesn't render in real time here. So if I move it, it renders, right? But what is important during the work, you have real time, right? So you can focus on.
That is really interesting. It's almost like a debug mode that you have in there.
Yeah, it's important because what we got here is that you can set up multiple viewers, right? And you can process this. For example, here you can stabilize your view, so you can focus on the shape you're working with, which is nose in this case. You can stabilize it like with tools here and check this. You see, only this shape. On the second viewer, you can see it independently, like how you want. Right?
That's nice.
So
and are you stabilizing that shape through a tracker?
Well, Currently, I got the tracking inside the let's say the my roto container. So there is a tracking. But what is important in Flowbox, you don't need tracking to do that. So even if I have the shape, let me just do one here, separate shape. I really got used to drawing with the Flowbox, so I do shapes like that usually. Let's say this is my new shape here. And if you have new shape, if you animate this shape, let's move it around like here and there. I will move it there, just some example, right? So this is my animation, right? If we want to focus on this shape because it's traveling a lot, you can just select this shape. As you see here, it's stabilized.
Oh, that is nice. That is super nice.
I can stabilize it also in this view. Just let me do that. So now it's stabilized in both windows. You see?
Oh, nice.
So,
because traditionally, what is the approach is that we need to export a tracker from a spline that is already animated and use that tracker to start drawing other splines. So what you're saying is that you draw a spline and you animate that spline, and then instantly, without having to do parent-child trackers extracting information, you can straight away start drawing another one really close to this one, and it's stabilized by default.
Yes, that's correct.
It's really nice.
Works with open spline, closed spline. I mean, whatever you like. I mean, actually, we're just following the shape. If you like, we can also follow the points. So if you like, for example, focus only on these 2 points here, you can select them. You can stabilize points here and just press play. And now we're stabilizing only these 2 points. You can focus on them, right?
Oh, sweet.
Zoom is independent, right? So this is important if we have to just focus on what we're doing. Also, what is cool is just to so we can focus and also save performance is isolation mode, which is also new. Let me show you that. You just press Alt Q, and you got this blue border here. And now, as you see, I'm isolating only one shape.
Oh man, that's nice.
And also, I'm rendering only one shape. This is important because we have like hundreds of shapes, right? So why should we render all of them? Why should we bothering with all of them? So now you can focus on one.
Absolutely.
And you can just jump back to all your shapes, just Alt Q like that.
Much to the style of any CG package. Like you are isolating a part of like of that scene. So it's really intelligent and it helps with the performance as well. So you don't need to have all of that heavy amount of splines in there. Just creating a mess and slowing down the script.
Exactly. That's the point actually. So you can really like kind of manage it quickly. And another thing is that let's go for shape creation, this drawing and snapping to show you how kind of efficient it is. So let's say I'm gonna go with some detail here. I want to cover some detail. Let's maybe go here, right? And the arm. So if I go here and just start with new shape and use drawing. If I draw a line here representing my detail, let's say step by step, I can do it in steps. So you see this is the shape.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice.
And you see the quality of the shape and number of points. You can, if you do it manually, you probably would put the same number of points here.
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually doing it correctly and giving you enough points for the resolution you have in there. So it's not creating too many or too little. So it gives you a nice control over that. And you just save a few seconds just with this.
Yes, I think so. I mean, if you can of course now go for density, just press D on the keyboard and just bring more or less. You can just drag the slider
to
play with
resolution. Yeah.
We analyze the stroke on the fly, and of course you can continue manually because sometimes you don't need to draw. This is simple, let's say edge, so you can put 1, 2, maybe 3 points manually if you like. So you don't need to go like. If you want to close it quickly, of course you can do something like that. This is of course really bad shape. I made it here, but it just shows the case. And of course, if you want to combine these methods like drawing and clicking, you can do it no problem with that. Yeah. So I think this is very useful.
So with this drawing thing, so one of the things that captured my attention was that you can actually draw to move the spline, to adapt the spline to a new keyframe. That was actually very interesting. I felt that like, wow, this is interesting for organic shapes like moving cloth or whatever that is like flags and stuff. I felt it really interesting. So it literally saves you a lot of time. Can you show us that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you that with the example of let's say organic movement, because this is important because some artists, some users are asking, okay, but this is not always working with exact shape. Like for example, here if I have let's say exact number of points, some corners and valleys and hills here to cover. So when we do snapping, sometimes these points are kind of changing position, right? Mm-hmm. Because the algorithm understands where you want this corner to be. It's not always exactly. Especially depends on how you draw the next stroke. Mm-hmm. But if you got organic movement like waving flag, hair on the wind, water element or any cloth on the wind, like you said before, that's excellent tool. Because let me show you. If you can go here, I just entered the folder with the face. This is folder with the shapes. And as you can see here, this is green, which means I got tracking in the folder, which is cool because I can structure my tracks by folders. So I'm tracking the entire, group of shapes here, and I can draw new shapes inside this folder, so it will follow the same tracking. So I can go for the new shape, and instead of point and click, I will draw the shape. So if I draw a line like this is a hypothetical hair here. Mm-hmm. Let's do maybe one more. So something like that. Another good example how you can cover very quickly a lot of elements like hair elements, right? Mm-hmm. If you have to do that, I usually do like 20 strokes like that very quickly, 30, 50. I can very quickly cover this here. Let me just make it darker so you can see it better. So this is my you have to finish the open spline by pressing enter. So this is the open spline. Now this open spline should follow the tracking, which is happening. Mm-hmm. They follow the tracking. And now if we go for disable snapping, stabilization. So now if you want to animate it, you can just let's say this spline.
String of hair, yeah.
Yeah, string of hair. Just press brush again and just draw a new line, right, for this. And it will just snap. So you can now quickly animate.
Oh, nice.
W again, and now it goes here. My mouse is a little bit shaky here, so I can get some, jittering here, but
you would have saved me days of work if I had something like this a few years ago. It's really interesting. Well, first the open splines is kind of something new. There's not aware. I don't know, 7 years ago. So these open splines definitely help. But the fact that you are drawing and not just changing point by point, that is kind of a big deal for a roto artist that is doing a heavy roto and with a truckload of detail. So you can simply select that spline and redraw it. So it will it keep the ratio and the distance between the points roughly?
Yeah, let me show you. I mean, because there's usually it's the question about how to, for example, add the detail, right? So, and this is about number of points on a spline. So as you see, we try to keep the proportions and distances between points. So for example, if I
looks nice.
Okay, maybe I need more detail right now, so I can just go and add a couple points, maybe here like this, number of points, and just press brush again with the key shortcut and just draw a line now with maybe more detail, right? Like this, you see. So I'm now using these new points to cover new detail, but everything is before it's all good, right? You see, these points are following.
Nice. That's nice.
And as you see, these points are here with the proper proportions, so you don't get messy, with positions of these points. This is, I think, very important. So if you have, there was a good example from, I think, DNEG. They mentioned the shot with 3,000 frames and waving flag on the wind, and they had to roto out manually these flags. There was like a couple of them.
I remember. I remember a few.
You remember? Okay.
I remember a few.
So I think that was the case, which could be saved by this type of tool. Okay, but again, I mean, I'm trying to just explain that snapping and drawing is maybe not the final ultimate one button solution. So you draw everything and forget about
Absolutely.
it, right?
Absolutely.
work with points, we still work with position and all that, but I think we try to save the time on every aspect here, right? So this is for it. Okay, I think that another very important question, which usually comes around Flowbox, if to me and to our team, is about how we handle, let's say, two methods of, let's say, how we create roto, because there are two schools. We have Beziers and B-splines.
Oh, you want to address the elephant in the room?
Yeah, this is the very
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah, that was my first question to you. Like where's B-splines? Where's B-splines?
Exactly. So let's just make it 100% clear. We are developing B-splines for Flowbox, and the B-splines are coming very soon. So just don't be worried about it. I mean, we really know what is the difference between working with B-splines and Beziers. The thing is that, and just it has to be said, that we are learning, let's say, and we also not only copying the solution that are currently on the market. We're really trying to push this a bit to the limit. We try to figure out, what is the reason why you're using B-splines. It's not because, the B-splines mathematics behind the B-splines is pretty clear. Of course, it gives you the soft line. It gives you the ability to quickly modify the soft shape, smooth shape, which is the most important.
Yeah. Very organic and natural movement and flow on that, right?
Exactly. But of course, it has some limitations as well.
Absolutely.
Right? That's why we also investigate it, and that's why we don't rush just implementing. Okay, just give it B-splines and forget it. Everybody gonna be happy. We want to be a bit more happy maybe in the future, because we try to bring some flexibility here, right?
One of the things with the B-splines is that you need to do a lot more points. So it gives you a lot more control, and that's why you have in some of the other softwares you have the X-spline option that is kind of B-spline but with the tension, so you can change the weight in that moment. So there is for me there is no doubt that I just use B-splines, but I do understand, and when I'm teaching Roto, I explain the differences and say, careful guys, because with B-splines you need to put more points. So you need to be careful with that. But yeah, it's interesting that you guys are actually trying a different approach, trying to break this thing that is with the splines, because there is definitely ground to break in that area.
Yeah, I think so. I think this is, it also is important that because we want to bring this, many aspects of automatization in the future. We want it to be kind of in sync with that. The Beziers, B-splines, all these, let's say, I would say, for many years it was present on the market. We use that. There are X-splines as well, very, very flexible with tension, right? We can use them. So we're now kind of learning, right? We're pushing the Beziers, pushing the B-splines, and kind of, analyzing this, how we can come up with something again, a bit faster, a bit better, a bit easier to use. So yeah, we just let us play with it a bit more. Let us do that, and just be patient, and you will get it.
Absolutely, Miko. There's a question here on our Facebook Live. Hi guys. Oh, Yvonne is mind blown about this. Oh, that's nice. So Vadim Davidov is asking: is CPU based or GPU based?
It's a good question. The Rotoscopy, Roto tool you see here is now powered by GPU. This is important, so we are rendering on GPU the image. Plenty of tools in Flowbox are still on CPU. This is because we try to use the best from both, right? The idea behind in Flowbox is that we want to bring, let's say, both representations for most of the tools in Flowbox. So you shouldn't be locked with only one solution. We think because this is node-based system, we are building usually huge graphs, especially when we go into compositing. This is gonna be really like intense area node editor, and we process all these nodes. This is our next step. Let's say when we implement this CPU GPU kind of intelligent, let's say, analysis inside a node graph, right? Which node should be rendered on what to get the best kind of output, right? So there's a plenty of cool ideas around it, but currently 100%, let's say, roto GPU. We use, of course, CPU for other nodes like grading, like keying, like merging. This is on CPU right now.
Cool. All right. Let's carry on. Showing some more stuff.
Cool. Okay, so let me just quickly show what is different here. I showed you the drawing and snapping. I think this was the very, very new stuff. Stabilizing and isolation is also very cool here. What is next is interpolation. I think this is important.
Oh, that's a nice one. That was one of our first discussions. Was regarding interpolation, because it's one of the things that annoys me. Is that usually companies are not too careful about how they approach this. So it's really important for me when I'm animating a spline that I have full control of where the spline is going, and especially what is being in between those two keyframes, without having to do a keyframe every frame. That is absolutely ridiculous. So that was the first questions that I asked you guys. It was like, can you have a smooth interpolation? And I think you came up with something even more crazy about that. So it's not just smooth interpolation, but you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, this is this is important because this is I can show you here. We got this dope sheet where you can of course manage points and all animation, right? You can move the points around. All keys here. What is cool here, you can really it's really flexible, so you can move the points like this, you can slide them, there is no limitation, so you can just do it like that. You can of course copy and paste and or stretch entire animation if you like, but this is important that first we implemented the smooth interpolation, which is the same like in Nuke. This is important because when we deal with organic movements like people walking, moving around, mostly we want it to be smooth, right? We don't want the linear interpolation. But if you want to go,
it's difficult to find linear movements in real life, to be honest. Unless you have like a car moving at a constant speed, that is a linear movement, but it needs to be a constant speed. Everything else that we see in life, like a person walking, that has like a curve attached to it. So we are always accelerating and decelerating, right?
Yeah, exactly. So okay, let me maybe just select this shape which was moving a bit faster here. So that was the animation here, and yeah, so that's the smooth animation. As you can see, let me just zoom it a bit. This shape is moving, 3 keyframes, smooth interpolation between them. You see the arc of movements, right? So if I want to make it linear, I can do it here. I can just select the point, press Shift S, which is opposite of smoothness, and this now is linear, as you see. It now jumps as linear movement. I just got different color for this key, so I can inspect that. And what is important is I can modify it also in a curve editor. Today it's under development. We're prepping this curve editor a bit more with some features around and some stuff. But what is important that you will be able to modify this here, change right? That. You can make tangents if you like for motion, and if you get this, if you do that. You will create a third state for the keyframe. It's gonna be custom interpolation, and you can do that multiple points, multiple curves if you like.
There's the people on our Facebook. Like, by the way, we have 27 people watching it live, and there's already some people asking. So, what is the difference from Silhouette or Nuke from what we're seeing? So, well, from my point of view. Silhouette doesn't have this yet. Curve editor and smooth interpolation. You can do it linear. You can do ease in and ease out. And from Nuke, Nuke is a compositing software. It has 1,000 different things to do, and it's slower in this, and it's not meant to do roto. So we're talking about a specific tool that is meant to do roto. Everything, all the shortcuts are just for roto artists. So it's a specialist tool that we are seeing here. Of course, we see a lot of stuff that we are familiar in other packages, but that is a good thing as long as we keep the performance on the top. This is a specific software for roto, but yeah, you can probably answer this better than me.
No, that's a very good explanation because we're focusing now on the rotoscopy toolset. This is important. We try to, I would say the one big difference is price if you compare it with Nuke. Which I think is very important because you don't go for a couple $1,000 because you don't want to do maybe entire compositing work right now. Maybe you want to focus on this process on Roto. So you actually go for a solution which is affordable and kind of flexible in this exactly tools.
How much are we talking about?
We're talking about $46 per month, which is node lock license. Of course, if you go for annual, it's gonna be way cheaper. And we have a plenty of discounts coming here and there because this is new tool, and we know that people have to kind of learn, see, test. So there's one complaint about the Flowbox today, which we get a lot about because the Flowbox is now kind of protected with, let's say, credit card. So if you want to get the trial, usually you have to put the credit card details, which not everyone likes to do, which we fully understand. And so don't worry, it is gonna change in the future. We just designing this, let's say, new trial options for you, so you can test software fully. And there's a lot of coming here, so don't worry about it. We're just new on the market. We're learning a lot. So.
Cool.
To you. So yeah, not every of your voice, every let's say opinion is really valid. We usually answer very quickly. So if you have questions, any complaints, you can tell us. No
All right, more stuff. Show me more stuff.
Yeah, cool.
This is quite interesting.
Yeah, that was interpolation. I think this is important. This is crazy about animation because my background is animation. I finished. I graduated as an animation director. So, the graph editor for me was very important. Let me just show you one. Just a glimpse of it. I just loved that. That wasn't cool. Let me just open it up back. All right, so I can hit 5. Yeah. So this is graph editor and. Curve editor, and let me show you this, which is a blur tool. I just use this node for as an example, and let's animate it. Okay, that's my animation. So I hope you can see it well because this is. Can you see that?
Yep. Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely.
Cool. So this is the how we deal with shapes. Of course, this is important. So as an animator, you should be able to do all this, playing with the shapes, with the curve, right? Nicely. But what is cool, you can just move these points like that. You can slip them, which is not possible on another package. And also you can what is cool, you can shape them. Like this is a bit more like. Fusion has this feature, if I remember, but it's also implemented here. And what is very cool, you can also modify multiple tangents at the same time.
Oh, like nice.
This, you see. And cool. This is crazy, but for animators, it's pretty important to be able to control this, this way, so you can smooth out more, make it more, linear or smooth simultaneously on multiple points. Very important for animation.
Cool.
So this is cool stuff, but this area is let's say under continuous development. So it's coming. It's gonna be really powerful in the future, like animation layers, all that. But going back to Roto, because
show me a bit about the tools that you have, like corner pin, ripple edit, the stuff that usually people want to see is like, okay, how can I do this faster? Like what did you change? A lot of people are asking, so what is the difference? What is the difference between the other packages? So we've seen performance. So Nuke is probably, someone was saying that if you try to do something like this in Nuke, it would be 10 times slower, or you spend 10 times more time. So we were talking about speed in terms of the package because it's a dedicated package. But what did you implement different? Did a different solution from other packages on the market?
Well, I mean, you're talking about kind of the features around kind of how we deal with let's say.
I know you have a smart ripple edit and stuff, right?
Yeah. Let me show you that. Yeah, this is very cool because. Okay, let's go here. Let's just example with the shape. Maybe here, I'll just draw a new shape.
How does your nodes work? Because I haven't seen you showing us how your nodes work.
You mean in Node Editor?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for asking for that, because I actually forgot to show it at the beginning. This is important because in nodes here are circular, of course, and that's the Flame guys. They love it because they got the same, right? But this is important because we try to avoid this dragging these arrows. The problem with dragging these elements here, like plugging and unplugging, which is not super cool. So we invented this stroking, so you can draw a stroke to connect tools. So you can just bring a tool, and if you want to connect it, just draw a line. It's connected for you. You can disconnect it like that. You can connect it also like this, right? Nice. On the fly. And this is the fastest way of connecting nodes I can imagine, right? I mean, of course, this depends on number of inputs you need to deal with, but the default connection is made automatically for you. Of course, there are elbows, so you can also bring this to organize your flow. This is here as well. All right, so let me just here. Let me just show you the ripple edit, because I think this is important.
Miko, there's already Matt is already throwing a discount code on our Facebook chat. Is Project Rotoscopy. So if Matt wants to talk a bit about that, let us know. Let us know what you're doing.
Matt is smiling here. This is his fox smile. That's.
What are you doing? Talk with us about this.
Matt, come over. Tell us what you do.
I wasn't expecting to be online, but
hi, Matt.
Hey, Carlos, how you doing?
How's it going? What do you do?
Corner.
What do you do here in Flowbox?
I work mostly in sales and customer support and marketing. So not much to do. Just a little bit here.
Nothing.
Cool. All right. Yeah, so tell us about this discount code.
Well, we pushed in our newsletter that we were going to give a discount to the people that jumped on this podcast to thank them for sharing their time with us. So it's a discount code for a couple of months that's active through the weekend. So anybody that's watching right now and wants to jump on to the shop.flowbox.io, it's active, and you can jump into the software today at a discount. So
cool. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah. Thanks for the airtime.
That's pretty cool. All right.
See you later, Carlos.
See you.
Cool. Okay, I see. Chris Hiller. Hello, Chris. It's great to see you. I got a bunch of questions from him here. I see them. A massive deployment and 1,000 instances simultaneously. Have you run it in a Docker? I'm not sure if I understand all of them. Just to tell about the
probably the Docker is what virtual machines. Are we talking about virtual machines? Have you run it in Docker? So I think Docker is like a virtual machine deployer. And have you run 1,000 instances simultaneously? 1,000 instances of the software? Is that what we're talking about, or 1,000 instances of like splines and stuff?
Yeah. Okay. I think there was a question about what is behind, because there was one question about the Luna language, which was at the very beginning of the Flowbox. Let me show you what is the let's say the power behind the let's say this inside this architecture. Okay. How flexible it is.
Yeah.
So I'll go to. All right. Let me just go here to the settings. I will just enable the debug mode. I'll go to debug mode, and okay, let me show it to you here. This is okay. These are our tools. So we hit tab key like in Nuke. You can bring tools like Blur, for example, right? You can bring a key for here, very simple one, but pretty effective. And you can of course type roto, which is like our selection of tools. But you can also bring not only tools, but also values. Like for example 5, you can hit 5, enter, and you see you get the node 5. And hit tab again, bring 7, for example. You got 2 of them. And now you can hit tab and press plus, which is operator. And now you get another node. As you see, you can connect these two now and check the output. That's the output. which is 12. As you see, we got visual programming in front of our face. So you can now build your expressions here out of nodes. And
that's nice. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can plug it into Blur as a kernel, no problem. And then Blur is now analyzed by this equation here. And this is just a glimpse, just a brief teaser of what is coming, because if we talk about, for example, tracking data, right? When we need to multiply tracking data, average tracking data, do a lot of mathematical, operations. Why do we have to type it in Python if we can go for a couple nodes, build your own tools, store them, and have them handy?
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I think I'm not a programmer, I'm not a developer. That's why I think I was so happy at the beginning seeing this architecture and all kind of powerful approach with this visual programming. Okay, so that's about what's behind. Chris is talking about rendering. This is rendering in a farm. I think this is what's coming. We don't have yet the manager for rendering on the farm. Definitely, what is cool about Flowbox, because it's built as a client and server. So we have two kind of versions of Flowbox. So one is server, one is client.
Mm-hmm.
So you can run as many clients as you like, which are actually render nodes, right? So you can go for cloud computing, and let's say unlimited number of these clients can be started on in a cloud, and you can manage one server at the facility and work this way. So let's just go back to the regular environment, because it will probably crash. I can expect that, but it's here. So this is about the nodes and the environment. I wanted to show you Ripple Edit. Let me show you that.
Yeah, show me that.
Or let's go maybe to this green area here and make it even darker, because I think the most important is the shape. Okay, this shape is pretty messy because it's Bezier, of course, not the B-spline. And now let me show you how it works. Okay, so this is the animation. I'm gonna do animation by hand. I rotate the shape, move around, move it here, move around, like that. Yeah. So we got this manual animation.
What is your approach to the rotation? So how do you deploy that anchor?
How I do that? I mean, this is about quick actions in Flowbox. I think this is also important, because if you compare with Silhouette or Nuke, to do like quick actions like movement or rotate, you should be able to do it as fast as possible, because this is the most common operation on the shape you do. Mm-hmm. So you do it by control and right mouse button click and drag. We use the right mouse button a lot. This is a kind of forgotten element of our equipment hardware, right? Because we use right mouse button mostly for contextual menu for some functions, but it's actually a very useful button in the mouse. So you can drag with this button. Yeah, so we use that.
Well, I'll probably address that one, because usually, well, for some of the people, you're going to be using you'll be using the Wacom. So probably, like, depending on the configurations on your Wacom, that would cause some issues. But it's interesting. It's interesting. What do you do with that right mouse button?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we probably have to cover the entire different, let's say, layout for Wacom users, for graphic tablet users, mm-hmm. because then we will give them the ability to just adjust it for the needs.
Personalize that. Yeah, customize that.
Absolutely. Yeah, personalize that, exactly. But what is important for let's say mouse user, it's a very quick action. For the pen, when I was working with the Wacom, was also pretty quick. So you can just press another button on the pen and just start operating. So yeah, the movement which is important. You don't need to select the points or line. You can just move around like that. Control Alt give you the rotation, and the pivot axis of rotation shows up under your mouse right away, which is maybe it's nothing new, but it's working really quick. It applies, of course, to the points. You can do the same with the points. Same with the scale. So you press Alt key and just scaling this out, or entire shape the same, right? You can scale like that. If you go for more, let's say, sophisticated manipulation like shapebox, you can bring it up. And this is important because you got the ability to bend this shape nicely, which is
corner pin. Yeah,
it's corner pin, yes. And also you can rotate it and your gizmo is still visible, so you can focus on what you're doing. That is important, so you don't lose the focus, you don't lose the gizmo during rotation. Which usually in other apps it's resetting constantly.
Yeah. The actual corner pin resets its size, and you lose track on the corner pin. So that is really nice.
Yeah, I didn't like it, in other software, so that's why we developed it this way. So we try to keep it all the time, handy here. And also, what is important, if for example now go for animation, yes, it will reset. You see now it's resetting because I changed my frame.
Yep.
But during one action is of course always on, ready for me. And okay, so we did some animation. Let's just check this animation now. So we have this here. Maybe something like that. And now let's go for ripple edit. Okay, so during ripple edit I can modify points. For example, I can let's enable ripple edit. I did it like in any other, let's say, apps like Silhouette, Mocha, or Nuke. Same algorithm is working right now. So if I move the points to the right like this, I can now check my animation. Let's see. So you see how it goes. Not exactly as I wish, because it's like bending, collapsing here. It's not what I wanted, because the shape is rotating, but this movement, this point, is only calculated.
It's absolutely not relative, right?
Yeah, it's not going along with the rotation of the shape, because the shape is rotating pretty nicely here. So we developed different algorithm for that, and let's just undo. Oh, we have a crash. Excellent. That's perfect. Okay, let's just see how it works with the saving, right? Let's close the program. I will run again. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of inevitable during the show. Okay, you see this project here. So if you click on the unsaved project, can you see that?
Yeah.
Cool. If you click it, we are now exactly in the place where we finished. So this is the place.
Oh, nice. So all the actions were recorded. So it's not like whatever preference is there for like the last 5 minutes or the last minute or whatever. No. It's like the last click that you actually did. So you can recover everything pretty much that you've done.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I did.
That's
no
nice.
problem with that. Okay, so this is let me kill this point, and let's check the animation, because that's my animation. And now let's do different ripple edit. Yes, I will just to show you the power of it. I will add another point. I will switch to ripple edit intelligent one, the smart one. I will add new point, because I can do that during ripple edit as well. And let's move this here, right? So we can see this point in relation to others. Now if we check the motion, please look at how it behaves. You see how nicely it rotates together with the shape? Oh,
nice. So it's no longer absolute, like point A to point B. It actually it's relative to the shape.
Yes.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, so imagine you have to, let's say, correct, let's say 100 keyframes, and with ripple edit, and then these shapes, these points are rotating plenty, right, during the whole animation. There is no transform, there's no tracking. This is your hand
roto.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's usually one of the problems is adding detail to splines, exactly because of this. So if you want to add like something new, like a new detail in there, usually when you add another point, it just screws everything up. Like you need to go back and review all the keyframes that you've done before. So this is quite interesting because you have a lot more control, and it doesn't screw up your spline.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you. I mean, I'm adding detail right now. Yeah, so I'm adding more detail and more. You see. Like this reshaping this pretty intensively, and you see now how it looks.
That's nice.
Without tracking, without transforming.
So you can literally what you're telling me is that you can literally start with a nice smooth spline, just kind of the basic structure of your roto, without having, I don't know, imagine like piece of cloth or I don't know, some really nice details, some dents on this object. So you can start with a nice straight line and work with the global animation, the general animation of this spline, and then by the time you finish the normal movement, you can go there and add these tiny little details without screwing up all the roto.
Exactly. I think this is very powerful, because normally we have to plan ahead with all details. We have to think carefully, and usually we face up some mistakes and problems on the way, right? The issues. Yep. So so you can go with a very simple shape at the beginning, like this, for example, and now you can go for, okay, now I need maybe to add some tiny detail, maybe some, I don't know, ear element here, I don't know, the nose, something there. And no, it's not actually about the features on the face usually, but yes, you can go, sorry, actually I have to do it with the ripple edit.
With the ripple edit on, yeah.
Thank you. Let's do that. Right, so this is now you can start crafting this, right? And whatever you craft here is gonna nicely, follow your animation.
Oh, nice. That's fresh.
Yeah.
It's fresh.
Yeah, definitely. And other questions? Let's see how is Luna coming along? An idea when there will be a public release? Yeah, I mean the Luna is, let's say, inside Flowbox, and it's powering Flowbox inside. What is important is that we really focus today to deliver very good tool to work on. The power of Luna comes with this, node system that you can build your custom expressions here in Flowbox very, very shortly. You can modify, these tools and values and properties using the Luna, let's say, tools inside. I think this is the power of Luna that's coming. But without, let's say, the interface, the proper, the kind of shape manipulation, good tracking, and other, let's say, tools around rotoscopy, it's let's say it's not going to be really useful, because having, let's say, sandbox where you can build thousands of tools and let's say in a visual way, it's not going to solve the problem of, let's say, our compositing work today.
Absolutely. Cool, man.
Yeah, have you had any other question, maybe?
More questions. Yeah, we're hoping to see what people are thinking about this. Like Chris was saying that the crash makes it a true demo. That's it. Like,
yeah.
Who doesn't crash? Like, this is, yeah, it's normal, right? It's normal. Crashing. The nice thing is you can actually recover the project from the last moment where you've clicked. So it's actually quite good. I was not expecting that.
Exactly. Yeah, let me show you one more thing here, because this is new. This is coming. I mean, this is settings. We're expanding settings. Developing them step by step. I think this is important for B-splines and Beziers together when we manipulate. So this is how we represent the shape. But usually when we work with the shape, we don't like to see tangents or points, or even sometimes line is not even needed. We want to see maybe only points.
Mm-hmm.
There are some ideas. So this is the settings panel, the new panel we are building right now. And we have different states. This is unselected shape, this is selected shape, this is selected points, and so dragging action. So we have, let's say, 4 states for what you're doing. And for example, I can go for, okay, this is my selected shape, so I can change the size of the points if I like. I can make them, let me show you some crazy settings here. I can go like that. I can make them transparent if I like this. So I can see my line through them, as you see. I can nicely drag them around, you see. And they have different states when I leave them. So this is selected point. And again, selected point also can be differently changed if I like, also with the color. I can disable tangents at all if I don't want to see them. And also what is important during drag, if I drag this, you see, I see the point, so I can disable point during drag, one click. And now if I drag, I don't see the point.
Oh, nice. That is nice.
I don't need to see the point, right? I don't need to see the line.
Absolutely. You want to see the line. You want to see that how good that edge is being followed.
Yeah, exactly. So this is this action. So you can actually craft it as you like. These settings are now for vertices, and this is coming for the line and tangents independently, and of course the cage for the B-spline. So you'll be able to actually customize it really exactly for your needs, as you like.
That's really nice. What about do you have anything in mind for helping people? Because I know this is the classic discussion about how to do roto, motion blur, follow motion blur, hard edge, soft edge. Do you guys have any tool in mind to help people to kind of watch those edges closer and have like, for instance, a hard edge mode, so you can see and be careful and be sure that you are following that hard edge?
Yeah, this is important. I mean, yes, we're developing the preview for the alpha channel, so you can see. Let's see this here maybe, because this is our shape. Let's check let's switch here to see the alpha channel. Let's enable the motion blur here for this shape. Okay, so let me just quickly go here. Let's check the motion blur settings. Okay, maybe just crank up the shutter. This is the one. I think I messed up a bit with my settings. So let me just reset. Reset the settings. Yeah.
Is this view that we're watching the foreground? No, this is the actual render viewing, right?
Yeah. Now yes. Now we are previewing the render.
Okay.
So let's just go here. Okay. Let me just quickly. So actually, it's the alpha channel. Yeah. So we see the motion blur, right?
Cool.
So this motion blur we have here is matching the specs from Nuke. So you should be able to get this exactly the same in Nuke and Flowbox. I think this is important.
So
because
you can export the splines. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll show you that in a second. So first let's focus on the motion blur aspect. So we are developing now the preview for let's say let's say hard edge here, so you can see the hard edge of the shape without seeing the motion blur. We are developing it right now because during the fast movement you want to focus on what is your shape exactly covering, and you want to see the hard edge here, like black and white, and so this is important. And also what is important here, you can of course crank up the quality, so bring the quality up and animate shutter, animate motion blur. This is all animatable, so you can check the settings on the fly. And what is I think the very powerful thing is that we have now compatibility with Nuke and After Effects. So actually you can just shoot out the shapes into Nuke, just hitting export to Nuke with baking frames or without baking frames. And this is cool because without baking frames you are exporting only important keyframes, right? Your
only
animation
keyframes there are, yeah.
Yeah, so you have 4 keyframes, and you can expect exactly the same keyframes in Nuke. So your file size will be pretty small, right? You will get small file size because this is a problem when you have a lot of keyframes, a lot of shapes, and you transfer that into Nuke, right? And also, what is cool if there is a tracking happening, like here in this folder, any shape exported with this tracking will be hidden in an extra matrix in Nuke because there is a
nice.
a Nuke. Yeah, so you can hide it there. On top of it will be your manual animation. You can focus on that. But below is going to be hidden the tracking for you. Yeah. So this is important. Just a few words about tracking because this is important for any user. We implemented the point tracker, which I think is very flexible and powerful because it's similar to Nuke ones. The one from Nuke. You can place as many trackers as you like. Let me just quickly show you. You can, like this one, for example. This was a tracker I made for the nose here. You see this tracker working, and you see this is the tracker. And you can, of course, offset tracks. You can export them as a transform node here, like in Nuke. You can export corners also from this tool. And about planar tracking, because this is very important. Planar tracking is coming to Flowbox as well. We of course talking with Mocha about it. They are like very nice to us and like willing to share the technology with us. So this is the process we are in right now. We of course considering also as well implementing our own version of a planar tracker inside Flowbox. So don't worry. I mean this all is going to be nicely covered. Today you can import the planar tracker from Mocha. Just drag and drop exported file from Mocha, which is corner pin. And it's gonna work nicely.
Oh, that's nice. So you have some nice integration between these tools.
Yes, definitely. We try to be, let's say, very flexible. We're gonna bring compatibility with also 3D data from camera tracking. So you should be able to bring the point cloud from Nuke, from Cintai, from 3D Equalizer, from other softwares, and just use this data to just place your shapes where you want them to be.
Nice, man.
Yeah.
Sounds really nice.
Whoa.
Really pleased with this. So any more questions from Ross and JT from Mocha are great. Yeah, absolutely. It's really nice that we have like a close relationship with the other companies and don't disregard the nice solutions that are already in there and actually work together for creating something new, something fresh. All right. What more? Like we would like some you guys want to ask any questions? Just let us know.
I see some questions here. I see some questions, but I see only the last 4 questions here. I'm not sure if I can see entire list of the questions.
You can.
Okay.
But we probably covered. Dallas Luther is asking, can you onion skin the splines?
No, we don't have onion skin in splines. I know it's present in Fusion. I really like this thing.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even know what is onion skin splines. What is the concept behind it?
This is the concept is pretty nice because it shows you the let's say the previous and let's say future and the past, let's say in terms of animation, so you can see.
Okay, I get it.
Shape fading, let's say accordingly to the motion, right, in a time. This comes from classical animation approach. I like it really, but
nice.
The thing is that it is nice if you want to jump between, let's say, for example, specific point in time very quickly, so you can see this spline. But in my opinion, that's my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. So Dallas, you can of course convince me that I'm wrong. But I think too many splines in a view using this onion skin effect is actually getting in a way of operating with the element I want to extract, right? So I rather prefer to quickly jump between keyframes. Like here, you can just hold Control and just quickly go between keyframes. So if you got the shape, for example, here let's go to Roto. You got the shape in a couple of keyframes. You can go Control and click, jump between them, or just scrub with my mouse wheel. I want to just quickly inspect my shape this way, rather than seeing the onion skin. I don't see it super useful.
I like to see where that hedge is hitting. Absolutely.
Yeah, let me share one more thing here because we have nice lifetime implementation in Flowbox. Because if you have many splines, if you want to hide them, stop to render them. Yeah, because this is the lifetime of the shape. So let me show you. You can go here and select the shape, which is now my shape number 02. And if you want to apply the lifetime, you can just hit this icon here, which is kind of, I think, I forgot the name for that. I'm sorry.
The electro something. Heartbeat.
Yes.
Heartbeat
exactly.
monitor.
Heartbeat monitor. So this is heartbeat, and so if it's enabled now, you see this is present here in a roto. You got this lifetime 0 from 0 to 0, and you don't need to type in the numbers. This is cool because if it's enabled, you can go to the timeline and you can exactly on the timeline set where you want what you want. Control I for input, let's say lifetime start, and Control O for output, and that's it. And your shape will be rendered only in this frame. So if you go here now to see the alpha channel, you see it is. So let me just show you quickly here from this input maybe to this output, and let's go here. It's off and on. You see, it's just working nicely, and you can adjust it. And you can adjust it here in a timeline, so no problem with that.
Cool.
Manually.
I think there's another question. Vadim is asking: Is there some control over splines, like feathering, size of the mat?
Very good question. Thanks for that. Yeah, absolutely. If you like to work with feather, which is not depends on the artist, of course, and
which
depends
is
on the case.
Not ideal, but fair enough. Like legacy, it's legacy, right? So we need to cover Béziers, we need to cover feathering. I'm not personally. I'm not a fan of feather. Like I think that feather is just the exception to the rule. The rule is letting the interpolation draw the motion blur perfectly. So you roughly have your spline edge halfway through the hard and the soft edge, but I know, and I see a lot of people that were basically putting splines on hard edges and pulling feather. So it's nice, and it covers some of the exceptions and some of the legacy from the community.
Yeah. Okay. Let me show you. I mean, I think we really try to push this tool set to be a couple steps ahead of everything. So let me show you. If you go for feathering, if you have to do that, just select your points. You got these handles for feathering. That's a feathering here. And of course, for B-splines, you will get the similar tool. And this is important because in Flowbox you can manage multiple feather points at the same time. No problem with that, freely. And also you can select only feathers, which is, I think, Control G. Yes, I think so. And you can manipulate this like any other shape. So you can rotate, you can scale it up, you can play with feathering here. Of course, you can also smooth it up. Yes?
Oh, this is nice. This is nice actually, because I know a lot of companies that actually use feathering as the motion blur basis of their roto. And one of the problems that I usually find is that I see people in Nuke just selecting all the splines and pressing EEE, so it creates like almost a global feather to all the splines. So what you're saying is you can actually select all the feather and weight it to one of the sides, so kind of helping with drawing the motion blur to the correct side, right?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. There's a question from Dallas. If you had similar fade settings as you do with control points, it could be a nice hidden feature. I'm not fully understand. Do you get it, Carlos?
If you had similar fade settings, this was on our previous thing that we were showing. If you had similar fade settings with the control points, it could be a nice hidden feature. That's when we were showing the visibility, the vertex visibility.
Right. So you mean like we can for example hide these connections or customize these feather elements, right?
Regarding the onion skinning.
Maybe, yeah. Okay, I get it. Okay, cool. I think it's pretty flexible as it is right now.
Yeah.
You can of course customize it, and the more customization is coming. But I think what is the most important is really, like, say, the performance in terms of interface performance, how you operate shapes, how quickly you can render them out, see them, and animate them, right? So that these three aspects, let's say, are my top priority here. What we do, then we got into the more fancy stuff like coloring. So you will be able to color these planes as you like them, like that. Let's say customized view. But for example, the interface, let's say seeing vertex or not seeing vertex, is important for speed of your work, because if the points it gets into way when you're working, when you see the line, it slows you down, right?
Absolutely.
Because you don't see the line. So this aspect was most important. That's why we started to implement that sooner than later, right? So this is feathers. Also, we have a lasso selection. I don't know if there is other software with lasso selection with in a compositing. I don't know. Do you know anyone
with a lasso selection?
Lasso selection. Let me just go
like Photoshop style, right?
Yeah, like you can select it like that. This is lasso selection. You got these 3 points. You can move them around, right? This is very nice if you have to, let's say, quickly select something which is
that's nice.
Difficult to drag. You can of course switch it on the fly. Yeah, so it's here. All right. So any other questions?
Cool, man. Is there any Flowbox own planar tracking available instead of Mocha tracking?
Yeah, there is development here at Flowbox. So yes, we definitely working on it here. We talk with Mocha as well, because to be honest, we really appreciate the work. It's fantastic planar tracker. So if we come to agreement,
it's voodoo. It's what I call voodoo.
Yes, really love it.
I don't know what Russ did with that, but that is still no matter what people try to do, that is still unbeatable for me. So it would be nice. Well, if you guys can find a better way of doing it, fair enough. But kudos to Imagineer Systems and Mocha to create something that helps us so much. So it would be really interesting to see what you guys are going to be working on regarding this, because one of the biggest developments for me in terms of Roto. It's the planar traction integration, and how do you speed up with point tracking and planar tracking. So yeah, if you are aiming for high quality Roto and high efficiency, absolutely we should have that covered. Yeah.
Absolutely. And what's cool, I mean, as soon as we implement, let's say, this tracking, elements, which is of course point, then planar, then go to 3D tracking, and also we think about smart vectors as well, which is like motion vectors, right, of the image. I mean, all this, let's say, technology is in place, right? It's here. It's just a matter of implementation, and now I would say the cool part is the idea how to combine these elements, these pieces together to help you out with making this quickly, right? So some people like to go for tracking these points on the mat, which you have the spline and you want every point to be a tracker. There are some cases which is very useful, where it is very useful. It is present in Flame, for example, so you can track these points separately, each of the point, and also some of the people like to track this area inside, and
sorry,
make
I'm not showing it. I was not showing your screen. Sorry.
No, but I think that's okay. Sorry, that I didn't know. But this is about the, let's say, the tracking the points on a shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we should be able to really quickly manage this tracking, right? So we should be able to export tracking from point, parent another point maybe to the same point on the first map, first spline, put them together and track them together if you like. Because manual roto is sometimes it's even more useful than automatic tracking. We do something manually, and this can become
absolutely. So
right.
exporting information from your current splines, it's extremely important. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can expect these tracking kind of possibilities to grow very quickly in Flowbox. Yes, version by version you can get more and more around it. Yes, we actually are really accelerating. The team. This is pretty late. It's 9 p.m. But my team usually is working not on Saturday. Not on Saturday.
Thank you.
But really, I can tell you, there's a Chris and Adam, two guys in my team, and they are so passionate about what they're doing. Really, usually I'm getting from them the new version of Flowbox at 1 a.m. in the night. I'm getting the new version, and they are like ringing. Please, Miko, please check it out. I made it. I mean, this is working. Please do that. And I'm, come on. I mean, this is in the middle of the night, but it's cool. Testing the tool because it's so amazing. When you have these passionate people around you, right? So yeah, so it's I think everything comes
That's
from
really
this,
nice.
This craziness around.
So there's another comment. So Dinesh Chandra Laik is saying, I used Flowbox for 1-2 weeks, and I think this software has something special. Production artists like us, from my point of view, because layer based and node based in a single software is really awesome and handy, and Roto new features is really good.
Thanks.
Cool.
Really
So
nice.
Vadim is asking another question. Just to make I got it right. You have different time of interpolation, and you can mix them in the timeline. So can you mix different interpolations on the timeline? Can you go from linear to smooth? Absolutely.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know that maybe I wasn't clear at the beginning. If you go for dope sheet here and you go, you can split this. For example, this keyframe is linear. This is smooth. You can make, I don't know, these two linear if you like. These are now linear keyframes. You can switch it, no problem with that. Yeah.
That is amazing.
It's fully flexible. You can also, when we implement the animation layers, you will be able actually to adjust this, let's say, this bunch of keyframes with another curve on top of that, which is also very sweet tool available, for example, in Maya. Yes, we are getting a lot from 3D software. I think this is cool. For example, soft drag. When you in a 3D software you got this, right? So when you move one point, the other points will follow. So yeah, it's a fun part actually, developing these elements. The hardest part, of course, is to bring these systems like proxy modes, efficient proxy system, pushing performance even more. Right, this is difficult part for the development. For this, playing with points, splines, it's just fun. We have a lot of fun doing that.
That's really nice, man. Really cool. And from the point of view of the Roto artist community, that I'm still proud of being part of that community. This is really nice, and it's really cool that you guys are listening to what we need, because Roto can be tough, and these things just help us go through the hard times, go through the long hours. So every single tool that you develop and you listen to what people are saying is just another friend that you're making. It's another friend. So
yeah, thanks Carlos for this. I really appreciate it. Let's say your all input and time. I think without you, I think the flows would be just not exactly as cool as it will be. This is different. way different. You changed the let's say the vision and plenty of features. I mean that's your excellent work with us. So thanks a lot for that. I mean just to explain that we all ears right now today. We really listen to you guys, to artists. We know this is something you have to face today. I mean a lot of work, let's say rotoscopy work, pretty tedious task. So really, I mean, try to understand that this is also we are not a big corporate, right? This is a small team of passionate people around this development. Try to understand that it takes time, of course, but I think and I'm really happy because the community, I mean the VFX community is super close. We are close to each other. We really know each other, so really supportive, right? I know people are bitching, they want just everything to be ready.
Oh yeah, that's normal. That's absolutely normal. Yes. We all complain with all the tools, but without those tools, we wouldn't be able to work. So
yeah, let me explain one thing because you may not be aware of that. I realized that after let's say maybe second year of development, maybe first one, I realized that of course it takes a lot of time, but also what is important is that if you count. If you calculate, how many softwares are coming to the market, new softwares, right? How many developments are in today? If you now start to count them, okay, we have Autodesk, we have Adobe, we have the Foundry, we have Blackmagic Design with Fusion, we have okay, there was Shake, no Shake anymore. We have okay, it's almost over. I mean, yeah. It's almost over in terms of compositing tools, right? And most of these tools were started, let's say, 10, 15 years ago. So why so? Why don't we have, let's say, 20 of these solutions, right, for compositing? It's pretty simple because it's super difficult to actually to bring something, for the artist which is flexible and powerful enough. And it's difficult also from let's say implementation and also adoption time, right? Because you're working on a project, you're busy for next I don't know, for a big feature at Skyline, you're gonna work with Nuke, we're gonna work with Silhouette or Mocha. You're busy for the next 4 or 5 months, and so we can't even ask you to switch tool on the go. No possible. So we can look for your small window. We can ask you, okay, please take a look at our software. We are developing something. Check it up, and you can spend maybe 1 day, maybe no more, and you can give us feedback, which is cool. And then out of this, we can craft it better. So we don't have this comfort being like Nuke at the beginning as DD, developed on a daily basis, as an internal tool in a studio. This is a different scenario. We depend on you, on a community, on you artists. So that's why I'm being humble, asking you to be in contact with us, to support us.
It's a pleasure, man. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It was a different kind of contact that, like I said to you, is very, very interesting to see you guys wanting to hear more about the actual experience. So how do you do this? It's not that usually. I don't say that the other companies don't do that. It's usually it's not as easy to get in contact with such this direct connection. So say, oh, you are directly talking with the guy that is in charge of that and pulling the strings and actually thinking about a nice solution. I think it's a nice addition to the market, man. I really appreciate that. And I'm glad to be one of the first to have your software in my Roto course. Since I'm launching this Roto masterclass, my signature masterclass that is starting in 2 weeks, and definitely I want to trial. I want to have hands-on this new software, as I'm gonna do with all the other softwares in the market. So I'm gonna be working with all of them. But yeah, man, really glad to have you on board.
I'm really happy to hear that. Okay, I think that the very last thing I can show, I know, before we finish, because it's pretty long right now, we're talking, is something which is called real-time collaboration.
Oh, nice.
I'm going to show it to you on my laptop without, let's say, waking up my guys right now. But this is an example that works exactly the same with multiple people around the world, if you like. So let me quickly show that. So I'll just move my first Flowbox to the left. I will just this is my, let's say, server Flowbox. I hope you can see it properly. Okay, so this is my setup. Of course, pretty crazy one, and I want that. The idea is that, okay, I just got a bit tired because I really suck at roto. So these are my shapes. Really, really mess. Yeah. So I need a help from, for example, you, Carlos, or some like really serious guy who knows how to do roto. So what is cool, I can invite him to my setup, and this is something completely new. I know we kind of used to Google Docs, we collaborate together. I know we got TeamViewer, we try to use TeamViewer frequently, which is pretty useful. But this is a different situation. We are actually in a real software, inside the software, and let's start, let's say now the client. So this is, for example, my friend in I don't know, another country, and he starts a client version of Flowbox, and this is his Flowbox. Okay, I will put it to the right. Let's just organize the windows. Okay, so this is what he sees on the right side. That's his monitor. As you see, he got this unsaved projects, where there was the crash. It's remember it, recent project, and there is a joinable project. This is the area you can join as a friend to someone else's setup. So this is my setup called Real01 V01. So he can just click join the project, and as you see, he loads up all the tools, everything here, exactly the same as I have in my master, in my server. This is something really powerful, because I can show you now, he can manipulate my setup. You see, he moves it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just disable auto caching, because we have in the background always rendering and caching everything for you. So I would just disable it to save memory, and so he can manipulate the nodes, and I can see that syncing with me. And what is cool, we are syncing only shapes, properties, and that's it. We don't sync images, because the images has to be on the client and the server, so we have to synchronize images before. But timeline is independent, so I can work on my, let's say, master setup here. I can just view what my friend is doing, and my friend, if he goes here, let's go for frame number 78 here, 78. So I can see what he's doing. He can just go in, start manipulating points. As you see, these points are updating on the left side. So whatever he's doing, I can see on the fly the output. I can, for example, go for here to my Flowbox, check it against the solid color, if it's okay or not. I can change the color of the background so I can see it better. Okay, I can check his roto without working. He's working now. You see, he's working. I'm supervising. That's the thing.
That's nice. That's
and
nice.
On the fly, I can ask more friends to join. I can give them their roto containers. So I can bring another roto here. You see, it shows up also on his side. So I can invite more friends, and they can start rotoing for me. And I can, as a master, I can render out this. I can export this to Nuke on the fly without asking them to send files, send mats, and that's it.
This is really nice. I mean, it's almost like a CineSync call. Just one thing. Is it possible to synchronize the timelines as well? Is it something that you are thinking for the future?
Yes, absolutely. There will be timeline sync. There will be also, of course, viewer sync. Everything that is needed for proper review, right?
Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Yeah. And what I could see here is adding some notes. So, like, as a point of view of a roto supervisor, I could easily like sync into one of the projects and just write some notes in certain frames. This would be really nice. And possibly export these nodes to, I don't know, Shotgun or whatever. You're just thinking ahead in terms of collaboration. How can you bring this? This is super powerful. This is for us supervisors, people that do and QC this kind of work. This is very interesting, because there's nothing better than actually being inside the software to check a shot, because you can see everything. You can switch between modes quickly. Usually people freak out when you're getting inside a script, but it's actually part of your job. It's like it's just there's no better way to check something than getting inside that script and just quickly go through it and stabilize through a couple of splines and stuff. So Yeah, man, this is very interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone who wants to, let's say, start to kind of sharing this work, quickly managing this, right? I mean, this is something we really need, right? Imagine you are an editor, right, working on an edit, and you have these clips all together, and now, okay, I need something to be roto out. So what to do now? I mean, actually, you don't need to start roto. You can just start Flowbox, bring the footage, export this to cloud, and ask someone else to pick it up and just join his setup. And what is cool, you get this control on your side. You can control rendering, you can control exporting. You don't have to ask someone else to do that. Actually, someone else can only focus on shapes, on moving and animating for you.
Yeah.
Which speeds up a lot. I spoke with Framestore about it, and they spend 25% of their time for review, just process of reviewing the roto work, which is a lot of time. Even if you can cut half of it, it's a lot of savings. So I think this is cool for a single artist, for someone who wants just to join, to be this guy who will just join as a client and deliver roto quickly, and for supervisors, I think it's gonna be a big change.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
This is really nice, man.
Yeah, I'm really happy.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining us and to carry on developing this tool. I hope to see it really close, how it develops throughout the next years. This is gonna be very interesting.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Carlos, for the invitation.
Thank you very much, man.
All of you guys to be here with us today. I'm really proud, actually, that I can talk to you. I can, let's say, show you this stuff. You're amazing artists. I mean, working with this let's say, in this industry, and I'm really, really proud, especially because we are in a kind of hard moment in a history. Let's say the last years were not super easy, as everybody knows. And I see that this is slowly going forward, like developing really nicely. So we get better, let's say, projects, and it's just growing. I'm really happy to see that, and I'm happy to be part of it now from let's see, this software point of view, which is for me very cool. Yeah, as a supervisor, I'm always happy working with them, but now working with this, it's excellent. So cool. Thanks a lot, Carlos, for the invitation.
Thank you very much, guys. Remember, you have a code, Project Rotocomp code, if you want to have a discount on this software. Remember that we have as well the Roto Signature Masterclass starting in 2 weeks. We're going to be cover a lot of nice things regarding Roto, pushing Roto to the next level. And yeah, thank you very much, Miko. Thank you very much, Matt, that is hiding probably in there. Thank you for the code. See you guys around. All right. See you, man. See you.
Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
See you guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.